Hey everyone, it's Ivan, KitBadger.com, out here for another gear review, and today, talking light bodies, this guy right here by Echo Arms, which is their Monolithic Twin Mount. So, big picture, what is it? What does it do for us? Well, exactly like it sounds. Monolithic, meaning one piece, and twin body light mount. So, it holds two lights in one light body. And they make a couple different versions as far as battery compartments. This one right here in particular, over here on the left is the CR123. It holds one cell right there. And right over here, this holds a 18350. So your smaller rechargeable batteries. And these are threaded for any of your SureFire tailcaps, like Scout tailcaps. And then up front, these are threaded for basically your standard light heads. So by way of example, the way I have this one set up is over here, CR123, and I have this SureFire switch, which I can actually run a switch to, like a remote switch, but it still has a clicky switch should this connection give out. And up front here, again, CR123, I have this KIJI head. So this being their 10 and 40. Then over here, again, 18350. That rechargeable. I have this clicky switch by SureFire, protected, not gonna have an accidental white light ND. And up here, I have the SureFire new turbo head. Really bright, high candela, pushes the beam far. So I have both options set up right there on this gun and basically set up for both spectrums. Down here, you have screws where it attaches. It'll attach to any M-lock section, uses T25 Torx screws. And as I mentioned, on the back side, you can of course unscrew this and switch out whatever tail caps you happen to want back here, and it feeds batteries in from the front like it regularly would. So by way of example, this one being the KIJI, and I can dump that battery out. And then right here you see these high temp silicone O-rings. They're good for like 400 degrees. And they keep your water out, so everything's nice and secure. And it is pretty handy, giving you the option of, again, depending on what model you have, this one being CR123 and 18350. Which brings us to, what does it really do for us? Well, it gives you a really solid, sturdy twin light mount. So rather than having, hey, I want to run something in the IR spectrum, so I need some sort of IR illuminator, and it's usually good to have a white light, so need a white light too, and then trying to figure out how to get those two lights to kind of get along with each other as far as mounting systems and everything like that, because hey, maybe this one mounts at like 45, whatever it may be. Lots of times it'll mount straight on top of an M-lock section, so depending on your two lights, it can be difficult to get on there. This alleviates that. Really strong, secure mono body, or monolithic body. And again, CR123 and 18350. For me personally, where this really shines is going back to those dual spectrums and being able to run a KIJI and this SureFire Turbo head. Because there's a lot of IR lasers out there, or even IR and vis lasers, that either don't have an illuminator or the illuminator's trash. Honestly, most of them are trash. They're not VCSEL lasers. Sorry guys, they're trash. Don't get emotionally attached to whatever your illuminator is. So what this allows is to take a kind of like honestly wanting laser device and mount it with a really good VCSEL laser IR illuminator and have my white light. So I'm covered for all the spectrums. And that coupled with this dual lead switch by Modlite, Mod Button I guess, it makes for a really good package. So I can mash this button right here, have my IR laser and IR illuminator, or if I need to work in that white light spectrum, I can come around here, mash that, peanut, go lay down, and have my white light, which is really handy. Which brings us to what has been my use with it. Well, I've shot on a couple different host guns, one of which being a FAL. I was actually shooting a night vision course with it, and it did great. I again had basically the same laser IR white light setup on that gun, and it allowed me to have all my IR stuff right there at the push of a button, or coming over, depending on what we're doing, mash that white light for like white light override. And having both of those things there together, it made it really easy on a couple different levels. One, it's a known quantity. So sometimes you'll have a light mount and it can move different places and you're like, oh, perfect, you can tighten it down. Usually if you bang that stuff, it'll come loose or it'll fold in, or fold out, things like that, which can or cannot be a big deal when you go reach for that button and it's not where you thought it was, it arced out somewhere. This will not move. If this moves, like it's ripping away from M-lock. And so it's a known quantity. If I needed white light, I could come around here, mash that. If for whatever reason I needed to illuminate with IR and not with my laser, I could press this button here. They were always right where I knew they would be and pretty much co-located together with each other. And it actually worked out really well in that course. The light body itself is machined out of 6061 aircraft grade aluminum, type 3 hard coat anodized, weighs about 2 ounces, and price wise you're looking at about 160 bucks. So is that expensive? It's cheaper than buying 2 different light bodies for your lights. Here's the thing. I think use case where this actually like really shines is coupled with some sort of laser. So when you have a laser, basically think anything other than a mall where you have either no IR illumination or mediocre. So it gives you the option to run a KIJI, which is an amazing IR illuminator, and some sort of white light. And it makes for a really concise, like great little package. Honestly, I think that's where the real value in that light mount is. Again, if you just want to run 2 different light heads, maybe one is a like wide flood, the other one's high candela far throw, you can do that too. Totally up to you. Personally, I think this shines with some sort of laser setup and those 2 different spectrums. Again, there'll be links down below. You can go check it out. And last but not least, if you appreciate my content and want to support it, greatly appreciate it. One of the ways supporting me directly through Patreon. Little as $1 a month, helps me go out, create more content for you, gives you early access to videos and active Discord. So if you have questions for me, happy to answer them over there. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.